Despite the hands, and Zhou Ji goes up for the jump.
I only recently learnt that China is quite the sporty nation, and that Taishan, where my family is from, is nicknamed the hometown of volleyball. Armed with nothing but the knowledge that volleyball is in our blood, my mum and I decided to put our skills to the test against some players from the State League. Alright, maybe volleyball isn't exactly in our DNA. I'm well aware that China is probably more known for brains than brawn.
We have PE classes or just sports classes. But back then, teachers and schools, they just want the kids to focus more on their studies.
Carl grew up in China and studied in Australia. He's now back in Guangzhou and trains in Latin dancing. So would you say there isn't much of a fitness culture yet in China?
Yeah, I will say yes, that's the case. The best example would be if we're in Australia, we go to Coles, we go to Woolies, we go 7-Elevens, we'll be able to find some protein products on the shelf. But here in China, you don't really get to see that.
Chinese society is starting to embrace a fitter lifestyle, but the CCP has been harnessing the political power of sports for decades. In 1972, the US table tennis team famously visited China to open conversation between the countries in what became known as ping-pong diplomacy.
China has won all but 2 or 3 gold medals in the history of table tennis at the Olympics. They absolutely dominate it. Winning gold medals creates this image that can be leveraged or evolves into this thing called soft power. They recognise that they're dominating in a lot of sports that aren't necessarily global sports. So in more recent time, they've been reaching out in terms of sports like swimming, rowing and cycling and athletics.
In fact, China was so determined to become a sporting powerhouse, they even played Cupid in the 70s, hooking up the country's tallest man with the tallest female basketball player to create the legend that is Yao Ming.
He slams it over Big Ben. That's what you call attitude.
And it's big money. Sporting leagues across the world want a piece of the pie, including the NBA, PGA and AFL, that are all trying to expand in China. China is no stranger to showcasing sport on the world stage. After hosting the Olympics in 2008, Beijing is now on track to be the first city to have hosted both the Summer and Winter Olympics. But now, groups alleging human rights abuses against minorities in China, including Uyghurs, Tibetans, residents of Hong Kong and more, are calling for a boycott of next year's Winter Olympics. Both President Xi Jinping and the International Olympics Committee agree that sports and politics shouldn't mix. But when you consider the values of the Olympics, it seems it's harder to separate. According to the Olympic Charter, the goal of the Games is to place sport at the service of the harmonious development of humankind, with a view to promoting a peaceful society concerned with the preservation of human dignity. But it seems the people of China aren't too bothered by the politics of it all.
I love seeing athletes after a game, like in basketball, in football, soccer, they embrace each other after the game, even though they're different, they're from different countries, different cultures. I really love that side of the sportsmanship.
It smiles all round.
Maybe I should find a sport to take part in where everybody just gets along, like Chinese gentle dancing. It's often practiced in public spaces by people known affectionately as dancing aunties. So you're saying that anybody can do it, even me?
Everybody can.
Who knew that all this time I really could be good at sports? I just didn't know I was a dancing auntie at heart.